Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I am spiritual medium and psychotherapist and author Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. Today is February 12th, 2026. Really close to Valentine's Day, and I didn't want to forget to say Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Galentine's Day, happy, just a sweet, nice day. Although both of my divorces happened on Valentine's Day. Didn't see that one coming, did you? So I hope everybody's well. I have a lot to talk about today. Hi, Miranda, you're waiting. Good. Hey, Sherry. She says, I'm grateful for white butterflies. Oh, I love that. Hi, Sherry also says that this is great, Sherry. I love this. She said you have your Vedic astrology chart there that's an astrologer did 40 years ago, over 40 years ago. And he made a large card with my chart on it. And back in the day, literally, same with me, over 40 years ago, back in the day, a large chart that I still have somewhere. So I love that, Sherry. It's a good reminder there. Hi, Melissa. She says, I know that I'm an Aries because my birthday's on April 17. So April 17 in either system is Aries, in either system, Western or Vedic or Eastern. Okay, Christy. I love because your name says Earth, Wind, Fire on it. Of course, that always gets my attention. She says, I'm a Capricorn in Western astrology, and January 13th, are you a different sign in Vedic astrology? Yes, and we're going to talk about that, but yes, you are, honey. In Vedic astrology, you are a Sagittarius at the very last second of Sagittarius. So what we would say is you're on the cusp, actually, but you're in Vedic astrology, that would be different. Hi, Snowy Owl. How you doing, Michelle? Happy Valentine's Day. See you soon. Looking forward to it. Hi, Renee. She says, Renee, this is so true. Renee says, Kellee, I must have tried creating my birth chart before I got here with an etch-a-sketch and sarcastic guides because I'm at a loss. Okay, that's really funny. We plan everything before we come in, and I am going to go over and talk about a Vedic astrology chart and some of what it entails, because I do have a lot to say about it, and it's quite complicated. And life on Earth is quite complicated, right? So hi, Angela. Hi, Dee Dee from Chicago. And so you would like to take a deeper dive into July 12th, 1984. So yeah, July 12th, if you were born on July 12th, you might think that you're a Cancer, but in Vedic astrology, you're a Gemini. So most people, when they're looking at their Vedic charts, will go back a sign. So, and I'm going to explain all of this when I get into it. So Wendy is watching from Canada. Can my daughter have an angel card? Okay, let's get your daughter an angel card. And then after that, I'm going to get right on into the astrology and then talk about Vedic astrology, which is one of my loves. A lot of passions here. And that's certainly one of them. Okay, a card for your daughter from the angels. Ooh, it's a real good one. 333 from the Ascended Masters. Support. Tell her she's got lots and lots of support. Ooh, that was like my favorite number. My favorite number. That's a great way to start the show. So let's talk about the astrology for right now. And I'm sure a lot of you can feel this energy. This energy is pretty intense out there. I mean, we are in eclipse energy. The eclipse is coming up on February 17. And not only is it a solar eclipse on February 17th, but we also have this rare placement at the same time of Chinese New Year, the year of the fire horse. So I'm excited because I'm going to be starting a show with Dr. Shirley Pellizzeri, Psychology and the Soul, on that eclipse day. Now, one of the comments I got today was, Kellee, is it a good time to get married? No, it would probably not be on an eclipse. It's very fierce energy. And I had to really think about this to do this show, but something was just like, Kellee, because I have a lot of that fire energy, and so does Shirley. In fact, Shirley was born in the year of the fire horse. She was born in 1966. So I said, Cheryl, we can handle this energy. So that's what we're going to do. So we're starting our show, Psychology and the Soul, next Tuesday. on the day of the eclipse. To get married on that day would probably not be a good idea. The next day would be a great day, but not the day of, not for a marriage. Yeah, probably not a good idea. So let's talk about this eclipse. It's a new moon, annular solar eclipse. It's in Vedic astrology. It is 4 degrees of Aquarius in the nakshatra Dhanishtra. So this is a very powerful eclipse, and I've talked about this before because it has 5 planets that are involved, all in Aquarius. The sun in Vedic astrology, the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Rahu, and that creates a very intense karmic window. It doesn't happen often. So eclipses, let's remember, put us on our road. Let's say you're over here somewhere, which a lot of us are, get out of alignment. Just like if you think about it, like we go to I don't, but I could go to a chiropractor for an alignment, adjustment. Well, that's kind of in a way what eclipses do. They pull us back. And so we make shifts and changes in a solar eclipse is about a 6-month period. Now, when we get to the lunar eclipse on March 2nd and 3rd, I think it starts on the 2nd and goes into the 3rd. That's different because a lunar eclipse, things happen quicker in a shorter time. So this is a very powerful eclipse that we have coming up, and you'll start to feel this energy. And the nakshatra Dhanishtra is actually ruled by Mars. Mars is intense. Mars can be war. Mars can be high energy. It's fierce. And so this nakshatra actually can bring violence and conflict. So this eclipse bring out the hidden things. And in Aquarius is about humanity. So I really feel this February and March and this year coming up, this whole year that we're in has a lot to do with humanity and the changing of humanity and things, amazing things that can happen. It's not just all, horrible things. It's a lot of change that comes up for this. A lot of it can be very, very good change. So just kind of remember that. Now, in the United States, we're not going to see this eclipse. But it doesn't mean that we would not feel this eclipse, that we will. It's visible from Antarctica. So if you're going to be in Antarctica, that would be an extraordinary place to be during this eclipse. They say not to be in an area of an eclipse, though. Well, in Vedic astrology, that's the way they talk about it. But they still fascinate me. And the parts of South America and South Africa. So that's primarily where this will be seen. So, and also at the same time, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, okay, and it's going to conjunct Pluto, which is transformation. So this is going to put a lot of attention on world leaders. So this is a very powerful time here, okay, and with the Chinese New Year coming up. And this is the year of the fire horse, and that is going to be a super intense time. I actually made a video on different crystals to use during this year, but use what is drawn, if you're drawn to certain things. But I'm really excited. You can go to my social media and you could look at a video I made of crystals that will be good for this energy, for this, like citrine was one of them, because that brings in a lot of abundance and things. There's just a lot of good information from that. So go check that out. Now, from February 17th until February 25th, Saturn and Neptune are going to conjunct exactly at 6 degrees in Pisces. So Neptune represents illusions, also compassion and spirituality, water and oil. It represents a lot. And Saturn represents structure, order, discipline, and like reality checks. So during this time, Saturn tries to break the illusion of Neptune. And what does that mean? It means that a lot of people will probably start to wake up in a way that they hadn't before, because Neptune kind of puts us in the dreamy world. We don't want to see things. And Saturn's like, oh no, you're going to see things. So it's going to be a kind of an interesting time here, and major events could happen again during this time of between the 17th, between that eclipse and the 25th, and really for the end of the month. It's a very powerful time. and major events can happen during this time period that we're in. Also on the 18th, Pluto changes from the nakshatra called Uttarashada. I don't think I'm saying that right. And it enters the nakshatra Shravana, and that stays until the year 2035. So for Pluto to make a change, that's huge. And Pluto means deep transformation. So I think there's going to be, we're in a long haul for great change and transformation. It's a really big deal. This whole energy that we're in for the next period of time that we're in, for the next several months here. And Mercury goes retrograde on February 26th. So I know people have asked me, Kellee, when is it going retrograde? February 26th until March 21st, and it'll be retrograde in Aquarius. And so during this period of time, make sure you do, cover your computer, like reboot, download everything you need. You save your computer. You work really hard to make sure that your system is in good shape, because this is a particularly challenging Mercury retrograde. So a lot of things can go haywire with this particular one. And Aquarius, it's going to be in Aquarius, and Aquarius rules the internet and electricity and AI. And Mercury rules data. So this would be a really good time to, what do they say? Back up your websites and back up your computer. Really, really good time to do that. So that's going on. And at the end of the month, on February 27th to 28th, Mars will square Uranus. That's could be a very volatile time as well. It's unpredictable energy. And so there's a lot of other things that are going on. And so I would say this, for the next several weeks, take a lot of breaths, breathe, as things might feel a little more intense, a lot more intense. Just know this, and I say this all the time, we get through all of this. Our souls are growing and expanding constantly. We wanted to be here now. I worked with this wonderful young man yesterday. He's 20 years old, and he said, "You can't tell me that I chose this." And I said, "But you did. You did choose this. I know you don't want to be here, but you did want to be here. It was like winning the lottery to be here. All these souls lined up for this particular time." Because I was listening to Eckhart Tolle talk the other day, and it was really great. Because what he was saying, he was just talking to women in prison, and he was saying, if you were in a like a spa, like let's say you're in a spa for like 2 weeks at a time, you're in a spa, and everything is done for you, and you feel so good. And yes, it would feel really good. I love that idea. But your soul's not learning anything. And really, what you're learning, if you were in prison, you'd really be learning an awful lot. And so it's the whole idea on Earth is to learn an awful lot. Learn everything that you possibly can here. And of course, go to the spa when you can. Tip 1 from me, go to a spa. But also, just know that when we came to Earth with a duty and a responsibility. A lot of people during this timeline that we're on came in to wake up, if you will, to be consciously awake. And some souls did not. Okay. And that it's Earth, it's a school, but I suspect a lot more will in this lifetime. I do. So anyway, February is quite a month, as you can see. It will be quite a month here. And I want to remind everybody that I start the show with Shirley on February 17th, and I'm really excited about that. And it's going to be a conversation. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about consciousness. What does it mean to be a human? And working with Shirley, I've known Shirley, oh my goodness, almost 30 years. And we get along really, really well. We have great chemistry together. And she's really bright. And she will bring so much knowledge with trauma. And we'll be talking about personality disorders and how to function during this really stressful time we're in. And I think we're really fortunate to be able to bring our time and resources together to do this. So we really want to help people that have felt stuck and may not have a place to go. So just even listening to some of the things that we have. And we also, Michelle put a beautiful post out about what things people want to talk about for this and some topics. And Shirley and I are going to cover all of that. So we're really excited, everybody, to have you join us on this journey so we can all get through these periods of time. And on March 14th, I have a upcoming class called Wisdom and Healing for the Empathic Soul. So this will be transformative, particularly if you are an empath or if you have an empath in the family. You need to understand, why does my daughter cry so much? Those kind of things. Why is my daughter just wanting to help little animals? I get that from mothers all the time. And I'll say, because she's an empath, that's why. What does that mean? Oh, yeah, I hear a lot. So anyway, join me on this, if you can, on March 14th. I can't remember what time it starts. I think it's probably 10 a.m. on Central Time. So anyway, that will be exciting. And so let me talk about what I planned on talking to you about today, and that is Vedic astrology. And I have a lot to say about it. And so I'm going to explain a lot about what it is and the best way to get your chart done, okay? Because it's a deal now. It's a deal to get your chart done. It's actually easy to do. It used to be, like Sherry had written, like 40 years ago, the Vedic astrologers would have to do it by hand. And I remember I was just telling Jared, our producer, that years ago, I would wait for hours to have my chart done. I would be sitting there for hours. It would take that long. But what is Vedic astrology? So it's Jyotish, and that means the science of light. So it's an ancient, spiritual, it's a science. You have to remember that. And as a science, it takes a long time to learn. And it originated in India. So in essence, your natal Vedic astrology chart, if you will, because a lot of people ask me, does this have to do with karma? Everything to do with karma. It's a personalized, karmic, if you will, GPS. So remember, as a spiritual teacher, before you incarnate, we plan a lot, and some really plan a lot. And yeah, there's room for, choices and we have free will here, but we plan an awful lot. And so a natal Vedic chart will show you where you start and where you started. And it will also show you the terrain, if you will, that you designed yourself to navigate, the things you wanted to work on. It'll show you the tools that you possess. Because some people don't know, they'll say, well, I don't know this and I don't know that. And if we look at a chart, you'd be amazed what is in, especially a Vedic chart, and for a lot of reasons. A Vedic chart can show you the best time to move forward. And that's really important. And with that knowledge, it helps you become more conscious of your own journey. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about when I got involved in this, but your Vedic chart isn't just a horoscope, okay? It's really a personal cosmic blueprint. It's not about predicting an unchangeable fate, but it's about understanding the energetic landscape that you were born into. And it really will empower you to navigate with a lot more wisdom and awareness. And so when we look at a birth chart, what you need to do is to calculate it. And so first you need your accurate birth data. So if you need your birth time, and there's a reason for that, which I'll explain in a minute, but you need your birth time. If you don't have a birth time, there are ways around it. But I think it's really critical to have it because it will give you your ascendant, which is where we start everything. So the time that you were born, the date you were born, everybody knows I was born on this date. I've actually worked with people that said, well, I think my birthday is this day, but my mother tells me it was this day. It would be very confusing to do a chart like that. You also need to know the exact place you were born. That is really crucial. So you need the time, the date, and the place. And so there is software that will calculate the exact planet positions in sidereal zodiac. Okay. And it's really important because the software will calculate the event, and the ascendant is based on your birth time. And that is the zodiac sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at your birth. And that, the Lagna, it's called, determines your first house. And all other houses are numbered sequentially from the first house. So it's very, very important because planets are placed in that house that contains a zodiac sign that they were in at your birth. And Vedic astrology dates back thousands of years. It's got roots to the Vedas. So it's an understanding this whole process of how it will work will really help empower you to understand the beginning stages of Vedic astrology. So, and Vedic astrology is different than Western astrology. It is based on where the planets are, where they actually are in the sky. And that's why I have always just gravitated to this. I've always had a passion for understanding it. And the first time when I was 20 years old, my mother was she was a psychologist, as many of you have heard. She was also a professor at USC, and she was the head of the PhD department at USC in psychology and for existentialism. It was pretty extraordinary. And one of the students there, one of my mother's students, knew of this well-known astrologer named Chakrapani. And Chakrapani was the president of the Vedic community or society, I think, for many years. And so I went to go see him when I was 20 years old. And when I was 20 years old, he said this, did my chart. And in those days, the old-fashioned way, there was no computer program for it. We're talking, a long time ago, like over 40 years ago. And he said to me, I'll never imagine being 20 years old and you're hearing this. He goes, when you're 60, I'm like, I'm 60. Did I hear that right? And he was really hard to understand, really difficult. Straight from India, really hard to understand. And he said, when you were 60, you'll be doing this work. And I was like, when I'm 60, I couldn't make any sense of that. Okay. But he wasn't wrong. I had seen Chakrapani tell me many, many things. I saw him and I studied with him and I loved him. And he passed away, sadly, it was in 2017. And about 6 months before my mom passed away, actually. And when he passed, I was so touched because his wife, who had been my mother's student, came to me and I worked with as a medium, and I really helped his family. And I know I felt so honored to be able to do that for him because he had helped so many people and he had helped me so much. And so I just love that about him. So when I was a little older than 60, remember I moved to the farm here in 2019, I moved to the farm. So my whole life had been in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, and I had been, working as a medium, working as a psychotherapist. I'd worked my ass off, and as I was working really hard, and then my mother died, and long story, we moved to the farm, and everybody said to me, "You'll never work again." Did not happen. Right? Everything changed. But at that time, when we moved to the farm, I really was missing, advice from my mom or advice from Chakrapani, because a really good Vedic astrologer can give you really good advice. And as a medium, as a psychotherapist, I work with other psychologists, psychotherapists that will come to me for advice, other mediums that will come for me to advice, other astrologers will come to me for advice. But in this particular time, because I had just moved, I was kind of shook up. I mean, the whole thing was a lot, and I had a lot of family things going on, and I just needed some solid advice. And so I looked around, and I was like, I kept saying, Chakrapani, I need your help. And somehow I discovered a woman who I think is an extraordinary Vedic astrologer. And on her site, I'm going to give you her name, and on her site, you can find a birth date calculator. You can find everything you need, actually. And her name is Joni Patry. Joni Patry, I went to see her in February of 2020, a month before COVID. And we were both, I really liked her a lot because she is so wise, so smart, she was able to take, and she studied with Chakrapani, and that's what really got to me. She had studied with him. And she was able to take this complicated language. I mean, Vedic astrology is a science, but she was able to take it and say it in a way that people could understand, where I could listen to Chakrapani for days and days and days and not understand exactly what he was saying. It was very, very complicated. But Joni has this ability to break it down. She's a queen of clubs, so queen of clubs can figure out anything. And she mastered it. And she figured out a way to make Vedic astrology understandable. I think she's quite extraordinary, and I have huge respect for her. And she has somebody that she works with who's also very, very good. And her name is Shrikala Ram, and she's wonderful too. And she has a University of Vedic Astrology. I have to tell you, and I don't not getting anything from this. I just want to promote it because she's that good. And on her site, she's got a free birth date calculator, so you can find your ascendant, which is how we start the process of the chart. It's very important, and it'll have your correct sun and your correct moon, and then she also has a thing. And again, I'm not getting paid for this. I think I just have the world respect for Joni and the work that she's piled into. I mean, she's gone into this. It's amazing. I just have a lot of respect for her. I mean, all the work I've done as a medium and a psychotherapist, she's put into this. And I'm just couldn't be happier for her and the people that go to her university. It's a great school. So she also has a thing called a galactic planner. And in that galactic planner, I think it's like $12.99 a month. And you can sign up for that, but it'll have your chart. So you don't actually have to have a session with her. You can look at your own chart, and it will have the houses, and it will have the current dashas in it. And it will have daily predictions even for you. And again, I am just talking about this because I think she's done an extraordinary job. And I'm always wanting to promote people that do extraordinary things. And because Vedic astrology is complicated and it's nuanced, it's a system, it's a science. And I think her university, I think about it, the Vedic Astrology University, she has a new class that begins the day after the eclipse on the 18th. So anyway, check her out, but certainly you can go there and look at your birth date calculator. But because this is such a complicated system, I thought I want to tell you about why the natal Vedic astrology chart is important, because it's very important. It's a map of your karma. So when people would ask, Kellee, is it about karma? Yes. So Vedic astrology is deeply rooted in the concept of karma, and the chart will show like the cards that you were dealt, but it's not because you were dealt, problems. It has a lot to do with your past lives and maybe the predisposition of something, but it also looks at your talents and your challenges and the lessons that you're here to work through. And it will explain the greatest thing of why certain patterns keep repeating. Now, when I do a quick chart for somebody, I use the destiny system. I use the destiny system because my guides told me it would be the quickest for me. Because remember, I'm a medium and a psychotherapist, so I don't have the time that I could to devote to doing Vedic astrology the way it needs to be done. So I use a quick destiny system, which gets me to a lot of great places. So that's the system that I am using. But I will also look at what's going on in the world in Vedic astrology when I look at a system of somebody's destiny. So to see what else is going on. But anyway, also the reason of native the natal Vedic astrology chart is important because it unlocks, if you will, this self-understanding. So all of a sudden you'll start, again, life is about know thyself. Know thyself is everything. This is, to me, the greatest tool ever. And I think the very first time that I went to see Shakopani at 20, my soul was like, I know this is correct. Like my soul knew it. I can't tell you how strongly that feeling was, and it's never changed. So anyway, to unlock self-understanding. So again, knowing thyself is everything. It would unlock potential blind spots. Okay, and it could answer a lot of questions like, why am I like this? Or why do I keep attracting this? And I remember once I was dating somebody and I went to see Shakopani, and he said to me, if I were your father, I would tell you right now to leave. I'm not your father, and I'm telling you right now to leave, because what he saw in this guy's chart was not good for me, wasn't. And I listened. Fortunately, I listened. And this fellow had a lot of problems, and he was not even in my book. Oh, I could pick him, but I have a wonderful one now. And also, it illuminates your life purpose. So Vedic astrology is about the Dharma too. So a chart will point to your soul's unique mission and where your greatest growth and contribution lie. So it really helps align, there's that word again, with your authentic self. The other thing that it does is it provides a timing system. So like, remember when I use that example, Shakopani goes, when you're 60, I'm like, I was 20. I'm like, when I'm 60, what does that even mean? You're 20. I was still in college. I could never have understood that this is what I was going to be doing. Now, he did say other things that I would end up being extremely spiritual. He did tell me that. And he also said that I would be a medium doing Vedic astrology and a psychic. He did tell me that. But at the time, I was like, what is he talking about? That can't possibly be. But anyway, it provides a timing system. And they use a system called the dashas. And that will tell you like a certain time period that the opportunities are strong here, the challenges will be this. And it really does empower you to make a real conscious choice because it's about empowerment. That's what this is all about. And it also fosters compassion for yourself and for others, like a karmic setup, if you will, of self-compassion, which is very important. And it offers practical guidance, which is the reason I ever would see a Vedic astrologer, because I needed practical guidance with this. So what does your Vedic chart cover? Your natal Vedic astrology chart. It will cover the planets that they say the 9 planets, and I'm going to say 9, 10, 11, 12 planets here, but each planet represents like a fundamental energy or aspect of your being. And it starts with your ascendant. And that's why the birth time is very, very important if you have that. And again, that's the zodiac sign that's on the rising on the eastern horizon at your exact moment of birth. And it sets up your entire chart that indicates your life path. This is what a rising is. It indicates your life path, your physical appearance, and your overall personality. And it's your personal filter, if you will, on reality. And it sets up in your chart your first house, and everything goes from that. So in my case, I'm a Leo rising. Now, my mother was also a Leo rising. Leo rising, you can see the hair, also pretty fiery. My mother also was, and I've talked about this on many shows. We have different nakshatras, and that's a whole system in the Vedic system. So we were different, actually, very different. So you could have the same ascendant, same lagna, but it might be in a different nakshatra. Probably would be. So again, nuance, science here. So there are 12 zodiac signs that we want to look at. And so also the signs describe how the planets in your chart might express their energy. So you might have a fiery Mars that is different than a watery Mars. Okay, so it's see again the nuances here. So the things that you need to know just to start with your chart is you need to know your ascendant. right? Your rising sign. You need to know your sun, which will be different in Vedic astrology. It's often assigned backwards. So, and then you want to look at your moon, because the moon is very important. And the sun represents your soul, your purpose, your ego, your vitality. And the moon represents the mind, the emotions, nurturing. So those three are really important. Now, when we get to Mars, Mars is your energy, your action, your courage. When we get to Mercury, Mercury is your intellect, your communication, how you learn. We get to Jupiter, Jupiter is your wisdom, and your expansion, and your good fortune. We get to Venus, it's about love, relationships, beauty, and it can be finance too. We get to Saturn, and we look at how disciplined are you? What is your responsibility? What are your karma lessons here? When we get to Rahu, which is in Western astrology, it's the North Node, that looks at like karmic cravings, if you will, or obsessions, or where you're meant to grow in this life. Now, if you look at the South Node, K2, that's where your past life mastery is. And where do you need to detach from liberation? In other words, to be free, to be really free in life. So, and then in Vedic astrology, it's more now. It wasn't really back in the day. They really did not use the outer planets, but modern Vedic astrologers do. I love looking at the outer planets. I think they're really important. And I know that Joni uses them too. And I think they're really, really important here. And so, and they weren't used probably because the discovery of when they discovered like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are the outer planets. And they weren't even discovered until like the 1700s, the 1800s, and 1930, I think. So long after the ancient Vedic texts had been established. So, and the outer planets are seen as having more of a generational or a collective influence rather than a direct influence. But I wanted to explain something with my chart. I'm just going to mention this, because it will explain why I had a traumatic brain injury. Now, Chakrapani did not point this out. As I mentioned, he did not use the outer planets. There are other ways. You don't have to use them. There are other ways that indicated that my life was going to change, of which he would tell me probably over and over. But I would have never imagined this. And I have in my chart, and I'm going to go over the houses, but in the 12th house, and the 12th house is unexpected. It's spirit. It can be transformation. The 12th house is, it's very important because it means spirituality. It means hidden things. It means liberation, and it can mean a lot of loss too. So the 12th house, in the 12th house, I actually have Cancer in the 12th house, which is where my moon is, and which is the, it's the home, it's my empathy, it's my compassion, it's all of that. But I also in my 12th, so I have Cancer in my 12th house, and I also have Uranus in my 12th house. Uranus is unexpected, shocking surprises, and means sudden spiritual awakening. So at some point in my life, I was going to have this happen. And this was actually in my chart. I was going to have this happen, and I had a traumatic brain injury that led me to here. And at 60, I was a spiritual teacher. Well, boom, just like that. Not an easy road, because you let go of everything. In this case, and again, in the 12th is letting go of everything for liberation. And liberation is a real spiritual awakening. And that's what that is. So that's what happened to me during that. So I know how important this charts are. And also in my chart, I also have Pluto, if I just talk about that, in Leo, in my first house, in my ascendant. And that is an intense, traumatic, personal transformation. That's what it means. So this was going to happen. It's probably good I didn't know at the time. However, I always remember what Chakrapani said, which is I was here to be doing this work. They were going to get me there one way or the other. And And then I'm going to look at the 12 houses, because there are 12 houses. And this is where the planet's energies play out. And each house rules a different aspect. So if I look at the first house, which is where you would put your ascendant, it's yourself, it's your personality, it's your physical body. That's the first house. The second house sources, maybe family and the way you speak. So the third house is communication and siblings and courage. The fourth house is your home, your mother, your inner peace. The fifth house is your creativity with children and intellect. The sixth house is your health, debts that you might owe, challenges, service. The seventh house are relationships, marriage, partnerships. The eighth house, which everybody tends to fear, is transformation. In my case, it's the 12th house. But it's transformation, it's longevity, it's shared resources, but it's also the occult, which is really interesting. The ninth house is your dharma, your wisdom, your teachers, your fortune, your long journeys. The 10th house is your career. It's your public image. It's your status. The 11th house are your gains, or your friends, and your aspirations. And the 12th house, it can be lost in spirituality and hidden realms and liberation. So, and then Vedic astrology is broken into this cosmic clock, if you will, of planetary periods with dashas. And so it divides your life into specific planetary chapters, telling you certain types of events or energies that will dominate. And then, of course, with each sign are the nakshatras that you've heard me talk about, which are celestial houses. And so it's a complicated system, and that's what I wanted to share with you today about it. It's a complicated system. It's an incredible system, and I would check out Joni Petrie for a free birth calculator, and it will give you a lot of information. And hopefully, I've been able to answer some of these questions about what it is and how to get your chart, because I think it's really important. And I want everybody to take a look at this. Will you, Jared, would you put up the Vedic zodiac, please? Because the Vedic zodiac, if you guys could get a picture of this, and it will show you different, it's different than Western astrology. So you might think that you're a Taurus when in actuality you might be an Aries. You might think that you're a Virgo when in actuality you might be a Leo. So look at this and then compare it to where you are. And at first you might be jarred because you might be thinking to yourself, but no, because you've been using Western for so long. And that's fine. For me, I like it to be exactly what it is. I want to know exactly where the planets were at that moment. And in Western, it's not based on that. It's a different system. And so I find that this system is really, really accurate. That's what I think. And Matt says, I always thought that I was a Cancer, but I thought that I heard you say that I was a Leo born on July 15th. So if you were born on July 15th, you would be at the last degree of Gemini. You'd be on the border of Gemini and Cancer, but depending on, again, that would probably be Gemini. Yeah. I hope that helps. So anyway, thank you, Jared. You can take that down, and I appreciate that. So everybody hope you got a picture of that. And then Laura says, Kellee, I listened to you faithfully, and I wanted to know if you'd answer a question regarding February 17th. Yes, it's a powerful day. Would it be a good day for marriage? No, probably not. No, I would say no on that one. Julie Musterman says, for the chart, you need the year and the time that you were born. You need your full birth date, month, day, year, and you need to know exactly where you were born, and you need to know the time. The time is everything. Okay. Renee said, I had my birth chart done a few years ago, but I didn't have the knowledge to understand it. And that's why a good Vedic astrologer where you can go and have a session with them, that's all they do. I don't have the time to do that. I'm so busy with the work I'm doing. I don't have the time to devote, and it wouldn't be, there's so many great Vedic astrologers out there, but I think that between Joni Patry and Cherie, I think they do extraordinary jobs. So look them up. And then, so Renee said, and her birthday is on 6/4. So on June 4th, in Western astrology, you're a Gemini, but in Vedic astrology, you're a Taurus. So yes, Laura Crum says, does one's birth chart have any correlation to one's purpose? 100%. Yes, it does. It has everything to do with the purpose, why you are here. And so Marianne Critchlow Cook says, Kellee, my birthday is February 24th. So your birthday, Marianne, is going to be between these two eclipses, the 17th and the 24th. I'm sorry, the birthday is the 24th, the 17th eclipse, and then March 2nd and 3rd eclipse. So, and your birthday in, I know you think that you are a Pisces, but in Vedic astrology, you'd be an Aquarius. And then I love this question. This is from Cindy Rand. Hi, Cindy. She says, Kellee, what's the significance of a master number as they apply to life stages? So, for example, she says, I was born on a master number 22. So the master numbers are 11, 22, and 33. She said, I graduated from high school in master number 22. Okay. I did too. 1975. I was pregnant with my starseed son again in master year 22. I hate to copy you, but so was I. 1984, my daughter. I retired from work on master number year 11. Yes, it holds a lot of significance. I mean, the master years are powerhouse. Like, we're going to get a lot of things done. And speaking of master numbers, so Cindy, it's a great question. And yeah, it's very significant. It means power. Like, you were going to get there and get to that next accomplishment, because it's a big accomplishment. And so on February 17 of this year, where we have the eclipse, it's also in 11 day to boot, because, we don't have enough going on that day. Brenda says, Kellee, I've had some very chaotic energy lately. It finally felt much better today. It actually, it's funny, Brenda. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, it can be very intense. What is it? James and I were just talking the other day. Go with the flow. Go with the flow of all this. Let's get you a card here, honey. Ooh, 555. Go with the flow. And guess what? Change. Time for change. So, gotta love those angels. Gotta love those. Praying for Charlotte. Thank you, Laura. I do appreciate that. I really do. Sherry says, Kellee, exciting topic tonight. I don't know much about Vedic astrology. I've only known Western. I thought I was an Aquarian, but you're a Capricorn, right? So, and Sherry, I know you love your home. Capricorns love their home as well. So, and again, it's just another lens to use to know thyself. But I think it's such an important lens. Hey, Carlene Reese, how you doing, honey? Hi, Evie. Hi, everybody. So, oh my gosh, Sweet Cherry Wine, 56 years on Valentine's Day. Wow, that is extraordinary. Hi, Just Jody from South Wales. Hi. Oh my gosh. You know what, Just Jody? I'm going to give you a card from South Wales. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, progress. 1, 2, 3. That means your guides are saying you're making progress. Very good. Bailey says, good evening. I love your show and uplifting, positive for humanity. Thank you. I'm having a hip replacement on Monday and I'm nervous. Don't be nervous. Bailey, is going to be outstanding. It's going to be great. I use this a lot because I know people are anxious to have these things. I actually, on an eclipse, had my gallbladder out. Yes, it was a surprise, but it was extraordinary. And so, hip replacement, I have known more people having hip replacements out there. Right, Jean? I'm thinking about you, Jean. And this is actually a great time to do any of that. So you just get it done. Don't be nervous. Go in as cool and calm and know the angels are taking care of you. I had so many surgeries at one point. I was like, okay, it was kind of like Calgon, take me away. Here we go. So don't worry. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So, hey, Julie. Let's see here. Okay. Hey, Ann Margaret, how are you doing? Okay. So Evie says, I'm June 28th, but I was a preemie. Am I still a Cancer? So here's the thing. If I'm glad you brought this up, Evie. So I don't care if you were a preemie. I don't care if you were very late. I don't care if your mother said, no, we're going to change the date to this day. I don't care if the doctor said, this is the day we're having a C-section. That soul, your soul on the other side would have influenced that. There is no mistake about when you were born or not born, or, oh, my mother, should have been there 2 days before, but I was 2 days later. And so that really makes me no, 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 no. There's an influence that your soul gives to the soul, to your mother or to the doctor or to whatever, that you are coming in that time. That is your exact time you're supposed to be here. And June 28th is, in Vedic astrology, it is a Gemini. It's a Gemini. So you're not a Cancer. Preemie, you're not a preemie. June 28th is in Vedic astrology a Cancer or a Gemini. Okay. Okay, so there you go. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. First time here on live. Yay, Jackie Grace is my neighbor. Oh, I love her. That's so sweet. Your name is Sheree. Sheree, let's get you a card. I love Jackie Grace. Hey, shout out to you, Jackie. Okay, 1414 adventure. Adventure. Wouldn't that be great? I think that this year, the Fire Horse, I think there's going to be so many adventures. And I have a big, I wanted to ask Ann Margaret, you had asked me a question. So if you go to my social media, I made a post, we posted it today, and I think I made it yesterday, of 4 different crystals. Like carnelian is one for passion, and citrine, and black tourmaline for grounding and for setting boundaries, and adventure team. And so, Ann Margaret, you asked where I got those beautiful white heavy bowls to put my little pieces of crystal in. And I'll tell you, it was pretty funny. A very sweet friend of mine, God bless her, sent me these 2 bowls, and they were to be used for putting cold drinks in. Because, I live in Wisconsin. It's pretty cold. Just hold my beer outside and it's all cold. But so I saw these bowls and I thought, what am I going to do with these? Because they were fabulous bowls. But I thought, for cold drinks? And then I said, wait a minute, I'm going to use these to put my crystals in. That's where I came from. I think it came from Amazon, and they were cold glass holders. That's what I remember about. And I just really got them like a month or so ago. So, okay. Jeannie says, my granddaughter was born February 7th in China. Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. So February 7 is a Capricorn in Vedic astrology. Okay. She's not quite the year of the Fire Horse, though. She's still the year of the snake, wood snake, which is interesting. So that's a good thing. Okay. So Chrissy says, if my birthday is October 21, am I not a Libra? So let's look. October 21 is a Libra. So they're in Vedic astrology and in Western astrology, there's like a 5-day window when it's the same. It would just be a different degree. Okay, so my birthday is September 20th, and Virgo, and I'm a Virgo. My son is Virgo, and it starts September 17th, and it goes until October 16th. And so there's about a crossover, like to about the 21st, I think. Is a window where we have the same word Virgo. It's still Virgo. So I hope that helps. Okay, so Christy says, I am Sagittarius in medical. Okay, however, in Western, my moon rising is Sagittarius. Yeah, everything is different. Even your rising will be different. The moon will be different. Everything will be different in Vedic astrology. But it is, so for me, I think it's the most accurate, intense, but accurate system there is for it. Accurate, you wouldn't believe. I mean, I go back to Chakraparni, and I told that story for a reason. I mean, I'll never forget, I'm 20 years old, and he goes, when you're 60, but he said it in such he was really difficult to understand because he was from India, and it was all I could do I was like, what? And I said, you said 60? 60? Like I'm 20. That's like 40 years from now. I couldn't even comprehend it. So, thank you, Margaret. I appreciate that. Anyway, I have to laugh about that. Lisa says, can I have a card? Yes, you can. Let's get you a card, Lisa. Here you go. 717, bravery. Be brave. Ooh, that's wild. Be brave. I think that suits all of us. Oh, okay. Oh, Crystal Cook. Hey, from New Zealand. Hi. Hey, Karen Rogers. Hey, Melinda from South Carolina. Okay, Laura says, I'm April 1st. So people have always said that I fit the Aries personality. No. In Vedic astrology on April 1st, no, honey, you're a direct smack Pisces. You're sensitive, you're compassionate. You are directly in the middle of Pisces. And you're also that 7 of spades, which is a really, really old soul that comes in for healing and helping others. You know what, Ann Rogers? It is fine time to have surgery. If you're going to have surgery, have the surgery. Again, on that eclipse, not a great day to get married. It just brings up a lot. But I know a lot of people that are having surgeries during this period of time. You're all fine. Go have the surgeries. You'll be fine. Yeah, definitely not a time to get married, Charlene. If you could wait on that. So, okay, Conchetta says, Kellee, I'm October 14th. Okay, and my 15-year relationship is coming to an end. I'm sorry, honey. And October 15 is actually, in Vedic astrology, it's a Virgo. In Vedic astrology, it's a Virgo. So let's get you a card from the angels, honey. And, you know, there are, during this period of time, there'll be a lot of changes, of course, for people. And ending relationships will be one of them. Ooh, this is a great card for you. Perfect. Perseverance, 202, perseverance. You're on the right track, persevere. Okay, excuse me. Okay, Renee says, Kellee, my son and his fiance are going on a Disney cruise with their 4 kids, leaving on the 17th of February. Should they have any concerns? No. They will have the time of their life. They won't even know an eclipse is going on. They'll be just fine. I'm so excited. I'm taking my grandchildren to Disneyland this year, and I'm so excited about it. No, let me know how it goes. They're going to have a ball. No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll have the time of their life. It's a passion energy that's coming in, so they'll probably have a really good time. Okay, yeah, the whole world is feeling this eclipse. There's no doubt about it. And having Reiki done on the 17th? Fine. Perfect. It says, Anne Margaret says, why are we not supposed to be near an eclipse physically? The energy is more intense. That's why. The energy is more intense. So I bet Anne Buffington, the monk's journey must have been incredible. Okay, so happy to catch this live. Joe says, is there a crystal that helps protect an eclipse? Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, probably black tourmaline. Probably black tourmaline, because it's really grounding. And, you know, also maybe a rose quartz, something for your heart. You know, a clear quartz is always great too. So something like that kind of just helps hold the energy. Those 3 would probably be really good, actually, now that I think about it. It's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. Okay, 55, you're about ready to make a shift, and you're a true Leo, Joe, and you're about ready to make a shift there. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, my website has a lot to do with crystals on it, too. Here. Okay, Coogan says, Kellee, may I have a card from my late grandmother? Oh, yes, honey. Let's get you that here. Yeah, you betcha. Okay, you betcha. I say that a lot now, but I'm a Wisconsiniter. I don't know if I'm saying that even right, but here we go. Let's get you a card. Here we go. I have a new understanding. Oh, your grandmother has a new understanding. She's definitely been what will be one of your guides, honey. Okay. There you go. So everybody, don't forget, tune in to Dr. Shirley and me. We're very excited. We're going to be doing psychology and the soul starting on the eclipse. That's right, because I'm just so excited about doing it. I really am. Shirley is too. We're so excited to bring you guys a lot of information and a lot of knowledge, and bring your questions, and join us on our inaugural show, which is the 17th at 5 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. So take care, my friends. Thank you for all the nice comments. Hey, Frank. Happy Valentine's to you, Frank. And also to you, Michelle. And thanks, Jared. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. And I will see you next week, 2 times next week. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.